So we're breaking down a self-storage deal from initial contact with the seller to hopefully closing a deal with the seller on this opportunity that's right here in front of us. This is part 3 of this series. If you haven't watched the other 2, they're in this playlist, so make sure you check them out. The first video was the initial underwriting of the deal after we received the financials from the seller. The second video was the initial conversation that I had with the seller. We made him the offer based on our first video's underwriting. So we pitched that seller and he actually countered us. So now with that counter, we're going to do a second underwriting of the video, show you how we're going to adjust our offers to come up to where he wants us to be and see if that numbers are going to make sense for us. So based on what he told us, we're going to go back to the underwriting and rework the numbers and see how we can make it work for him and obviously for us. All right, guys. So if you watched the first video, the seller initially was asking for $4 million. So we came up, made him an offer, $4 million with 600 grand down, and the rest was seller financing. But from the conversation I had with the seller, which is video 2, found out he actually has an SBA loan for 580. So if we gave him 600 grand down, he would only get 20 grand, and he needs a little bit of capital. So we're reworking the numbers to see how we can come up to where he needs us to be. So we put these numbers together. Everything on the income and expenses stays the same. Essentially, it's just our offer that's going to change. So because he has an SBA loan that he said we can assume, we're going to try to see if we can make that deal work. So assuming the SBA loan of 580 balance with a monthly mortgage payment of $3,300, the annual payment's $39,600. That's our annual debt service. So on these numbers, that's why I took it. The actual purchase price is $358, but that's for the money that's going to go to him. So our total offer really is $3,580,000, but 580 is this SBA loan that we're going to assume. So if you do that, the purchase price with him is 300 grand, and we give him $300,000 down. So we're paying $300,000 down. It's still the same 100K out-of-pocket expense for closing costs, due diligence, a portion of an acquisition fee, and some reserves for the property for future repairs. So on this breakdown, we're buying this cap rate. Ignore this cap rate because it's not including the entire purchase price of 3.58. But we're putting this 300K down, 100K out of pocket. Seller's going to finance 2.7 million at 40 years and 2% interest. But he did say he would do a 10-year balloon. So we'll pay down in 10 years just under $500,000, and we will be cash flowing 11% cash on cash return because we're putting a lot less out of pocket down personally. We're only putting 400 grand down. So on the 400 grand down, after this debt service and this debt service, the total debt service is 137. Our cash return each year is $45,000. So we're only putting out of pocket 400 grand and getting 11% cash on cash return, which is killer. And then even after we increase the vacancy rates and we increase the expenses, the expense ratio for us, we're still getting an 8.26% cash on cash return. So these are better numbers than our previous offer for us. The seller's actually going to get more with this in his pocket up front, less per month, but we're also paying almost 500 grand less. We're paying 420 less from our initial offer. So this will be my first offer to him. I do like to present multiple offers to sellers. So not only doing this, I never assumed an SBA loan, so I don't know how difficult that would be. So I want to make him another offer to see if, just in case that doesn't happen, or we have struggles with trying to get approved by the SBA. I know the one thing with the SBA, it does take a long time on initial purchase, so I'm not sure how long it takes for a assumption. So our second offer to the seller would be very similar, just not taking over the SBA loan. So essentially, we'd be putting $720 down at $3.6 million. Same 100K that we would use for closing costs, an acquisition fee, and some reserves. Still a 40-year mortgage, 2% interest. And that will, for us, give us a 9.58% cash on cash return initially at takeover, but year one, again, with the vacancy factor increasing to 15% vacancy and our expense ratio higher than his, we were still getting at least an 8% cash on cash return. So this is a deal I feel like I can raise money for and partner with somebody on, maybe somebody who's willing to do 5 or 6 pref, get equity ownership in this deal, and I will still be able to cash flow with none of my own personal money in this deal, and get also the benefits of tax depreciation, principal pay down, and cash flow. So these are the 2 offers that we're going to present to the seller. We should be recording that video as well to be part of the series as well. So stay tuned for that call. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on this valuable content that will help you lock down your first self-storage facility.